Hello and welcome to part 2 of this C# programming tutorial for teens. In this part, we will cover data types. In C#, you have to store any data you have in a variable. Every variable has to have a data type. A data type tells the computer what type of data it is looking at. For example, the data type of a whole number is different from a decimal or a text. The first data type we have is an int. Int is short for integer. In C#, we can store whole numbers from negative 2,147,483,648 to positive 2,147,483,648 in ints. The int data type is the most used data type for number variables in C#. However, if the amount of numbers we want to store is greater than the limit for the int, we can store in a long data type. The long data type can store this much to this much. However, most of these data types can only store whole numbers. To store decimals, we can use the double data type. For decimals, the double data type is the most used and, in my opinion, the easiest to use decimal data type. The next data type that we use in C# is the BOOL data type. It stands for true or false. The BOOL data type is the only true or false data type. The next data type we'll talk about is the char data type. The char data type is a data type that only stores a single character. For example, you could use it to store a student's grade letters. The last data type that we will see is the string. A string is a data type that can contain any number of characters. Now that we've spoken about the different data types, we can talk about how to use them in variables. To create a variable, we have to first type the data type. Then we type the name we want to give this variable. You can name it anything except the name of the data type. When naming the variable, there should be no spaces in between the name, and it shouldn't contain any special characters. Then we type equal and the value we want to give the data type. For int and long, we can just type any number between their limits. For double, we type any decimal we want. For the bool data type, we have to type either true or false. For the char data type, we have to type any single character in between two single quotes. For the string data type, we have to type any number of characters in between two double quotes. Now that we know this, we can get into Visual Studio and begin coding. The first thing that we will do is display a string in the console. First, we create a variable with a string data type. Then we name it. Then we type equals and give it some text in between double quotes. Then we add a semicolon. Now we can just type the name of the variable in the parentheses next to the console, next to the console.writeLine. Before running your application, make sure to save your document. Just click Ctrl X or go into File and click Save. Then we can run our code by clicking the green play button. Now, as you can see, our string can be seen in the console. We can now try this with an int or whole number. We will do the same thing as a string, then type our number. Then we can display it in the console. We can also add two variables that have the same data type to each other. For example, we can create three integers, one for the first value, one for the second, and one for the sum. We will make the sum equal to the first int plus the second. Now we can put that in the console.writeLine. Now the console prints the sum. We can also add strings to each other. We can create a first name string and a last name string, and then create a full name string. The full name string can be equal to the first name string plus the last name string. Now we can put the full name variable in console.writeLine. Now if we run our code, the first name and the last name are printed in the console. Thank you for watching. This has been part 2 of the C# programming tutorial for teens. Please stay tuned.